a lot of young people are saying housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right go to American citizens. And at the same time, we weren't building enough new houses to begin with.
That was Vice President JD Vance offering his explanation for America's current housing shortage. That, of course, is an issue at the core of the country's persistent affordability crisis. Voters in last week's elections made crystal clear that issue has been top of mind for them. Over the past week, the Trump administration has attempted to address some of those frustrations with a list of new affordability-focused proposals. They include a 50-year mortgage that even Trump's own housing secretary seems unsure of.
There's a lot of ideas that are on the table, including the 50-year mortgage, the portable mortgage. And I don't think it's a matter of if I like it or if I'm for it. What really matters is what makes sense for our country. What's the appropriate policy to put in place?
All right, our panel is back. And Alex Thompson, from a political perspective here, the 50-year, let's just start with the 50-year mortgage and the way Republicans are going at this. I mean, a 50-year mortgage would lower the average payment by maybe a couple $100 and cause the interest over the life of the loan to balloon and enrich banks at a remarkable rate. It's been widely criticized, this policy. How do you think that the Trump administration is looking at this and handling this? Does the president understand what a big deal it is?
I mean, it's amazing what losing a few elections can do, right? Where now all of a sudden this White House is honed in on trying to find something to do about the affordability crisis, which did exist before the elections as well, and not all of these proposals were out there. Now, in terms, people very close to the White House have rolled their eyes at this proposal, and people inside the White House have rolled their eyes because also what happens with a 50-year mortgage means that you might die before you own your house. And that is not necessarily the most appealing thing. Yes, it can bring down the rate, bring down the monthly payment, but a lot of people just do not see it as a realistic option. They want to focus on, the Democrats will try to focus on places like BlackRock and big corporations that they think are inflating levels and making it harder to own a home. Republicans now want to focus on illegal immigration. Neither side is capturing the full picture.
Let's put up on the screen a chart that shows the new median age of first-time homebuyers. Okay, in 1991, think about what your life was like when you were 28 years old. What was behind you? What was ahead of you? Think about what it looks like when you're 40. And to your point, Alex, I mean, 40 plus 50. This is math even I'm willing to do in public. Okay. Like, most people don't live to be 90 years old.
Even the 28-year-old, is the life expectancy even 78 years old in the United States? If it's not,
it's kind of around there.
Right. And so it's what a preposterous idea for all the reasons you're saying.
Sure, Michael Singleton, I want to play.
Sorry,
I agree with you.
I'm taking it seriously.
I agree.
Wait a second. This is
I agree. You know how I feel about this.
I know.
Well,
talk about this.
Sure, Michael, let's watch what the White House has been saying about this. This is the president, various other officials, the vice president, Kevin Hassett, and others about the affordability crisis. And we'll try to make sense of it on the other side. Watch.
The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump.
We have to remember they're expensive because we inherited this terrible inflation crisis from the Biden administration.
We've never been hotter than we are right now. This is the hottest country anywhere in the world.
We understand that people understand as they look at their pocketbooks and go to the grocery store that there's still work to do.
I think polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had.
My rent's too high. I can't afford to buy a house. Groceries are too expensive. You think they're just misperceiving what's happening in their lives?
I think that that we inherited an affordability crisis.
I mean, sure, Michael. Would you like to add to the pantheon of cable news clips?
Not at all. I think this is a terrible messaging point. We have not delivered on affordability. Even Steve Bannon, for goodness sakes, has advised, like, hey, this is not the right message. The 50-year mortgage is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. We have a supply issue. If you really want to address this, let's tackle maybe looking at people's rental history as a consideration to qualify for a loan. Let's figure out how to change some of the zoning requirements to lower the bureaucracy that costs a lot of money at the local level. You could even throw around the idea of, hey, if you're a state, the federal government will match dollar by dollar if you come up with an incentive program to help new homeowners. There are systematic approaches here that we could take. This isn't one of them. This doesn't help people who are my age, early 30s, buy a house. And out of my friendship,
early 30s?
I mean,
I know.
Casey,
Every time I remember this, that's when I go.
like it's only out of my group of friends, it's maybe me and 3 others that actually can afford to buy a house. I own one, 2 others own homes, and they're not the greatest homes for the 2 others. I'm like fortunate as hell to be in the predicament that I'm in. But that's not representative of the average person.
I can also tell you that veterans of the Biden White House will tell you that blaming the last guy and then not actually proposing your own solutions and putting your back into it is not usually a winning political strategy.
We actually can.
There's one more point to that, and this is, we were talking about a conversation you and I had yesterday, and another point that came up. It's similar to public safety, where when people don't feel safe, when people don't feel secure, telling them, but look at what the chart says, the data says.
It doesn't resonate.
It doesn't work out.
You remember that, right, Soji?
I absolutely remember that. But I also just want to address the immigrant part of this. I'm sorry. If you are an immigrant in this country, you are not buying a home right now. You are hardly making ends meet. You can hardly afford your rent. You are trying to buy groceries for your family. You're basically trying to survive and contribute the way that you can. I am from Brownsville, Texas. I will say 90% Latino, very high immigrant population. I will say housing prices have not gone up the way the rest of the country. It's actually affordable to live in a place like that right now. But that's not the case in other large cities or other places around the country where people that are our age or, in their 30s, I'm not in my 30s, but people that are in their 30s cannot afford to buy a home. And it's not because of immigrants. Immigrants are not buying places in our neighborhoods and other places that we live. And so I love that they're trying to blame immigrants, but this is one where it falls flat.
Casey, if I could just add quickly, by addressing the supply issue, you also tackle the joblessness rates among young men in particular, because you can encourage those young men to help build the next generation of houses for Americans. And so you're really addressing 2 issues in one. So that would be my advice to Republicans. Let's address the supply issue.
Well, is there a bill on the House floor that Trump is supporting right now?
I wish there were a bill. There is not.
I mean, look, if you talk to home builders, they will say that the president's immigration policy is actually making it harder for them to build more affordable homes quickly. I do also want to, Alex Thompson, one of the things that has become part of this dynamic, right? It's affordability on the one hand. What are we saying? Are we focused on this? Are we feeling people's pain? But then there are the other things that the president and his team have been focused on that seem to potentially contradict this message of, I am on your side. And one of them has become this the ballroom. And we have this new picture. This is a view of the White House, or what was once half of the White House, just gone, demolished, to build this new ballroom for the president to host like enormous state dinners. He, of course, was giving a tour of the Gold Leaf with Laura Ingraham in the Oval Office the other day, saying that the fixtures were not from Home Depot, that they were all very real. How is this dynamic playing out politically?
I mean, Democrats are eager to run lots and lots of ads on this next year, at least at the moment. And I was talking to Democratic strategists just yesterday, and they said that the ballroom, all of the gold, is going to feature prominently as a way of showing that Trump is not focused on you. That Trump, the champion who came in claiming to be a champion of the working class, is spending a lot of times with tech CEOs and is getting all these CEOs to come and pay tribute and give money so he can build the ballroom.
But really quick, what about the narrative earlier on that there was something aspirational about Trump? Many people saw Trump as the rich person they ultimately wanted to be, and that was the thing that drove many of his supporters.
Well, and that might not work.
Is that wearing off, or what's the...
Well, you can see in the polling that Trump consistently, even though when he was unpopular, that at least when it came to the economy, he was always above 50%. That changed about 6 months ago, and they haven't been able to fix that. And I think that his approval on the economy was a proxy for sort of that aspirational, he's a successful businessman.
Yeah, well, and also, doing for yourself what people saw Donald Trump having done for himself requires the American dream to actually be in operation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like
it.
It's totally inaccessible now.